Toxtricity is arguably one of the coolest new Pokemon added in Pokemon Sword and Shield, but it is also one of the most underappreciated Pokemon as a special attacker in VGC. Toxtricity has a fairly large special attack stat at 114, and with its whole gimmick being a Rockstar, it has plenty of sound moves at its disposal, which allows you to use a Throat Spray item on it, which will boost Toxtricity's special attack by 1 stage after a sound move is used. On this team we're featuring today, made by Dom in the Discord, we are doing exactly that, but with a twist. We are running this on a Trick Room team because Toxtricity's speed is pretty mid, but we're also running this with an Instruct Oranguru, which will allow our Throat Spray boosted Toxtricity to hit 2 times in 1 turn. So let's get into some battles and see how toxic this combo can be. So in game 1, I immediately see our Chaludon, which is a problem because Toxtricity really can't do anything to our Chaludon. So I immediately think I'm going to lead Walking Wake in Torkoal because Walking Wake is a strong special attacker, and that is going to ignore any stamina boosts that our Chaludon would get that boost its defense. But I realize that they also have a Tornadus, which is problematic because this is a rain team. Our Chaludon loves using rain because of the fact that it can get electro shots off in 1 turn. So I think Torkoal isn't exactly the best option any longer. So I decided to switch up and go for the Toxtricity lead with Oranguru. And the reason I do this is because Toxtricity can go for a Boomburst turn 1, activating my Throat Spray, and then also allowing my Oranguru after it sets Trick Room to instruct the next turn, because under Trick Room, Oranguru is faster than Toxtricity, so I need to have already had an attack off in order for this strategy to work. And then to round things off, I bring Ursaluna for big damage, and I also bring my Torkoal in order to change the weather if necessary, so that way I have an advantage in the weather war. So this turn, I'm definitely just gonna, okay. So we went for the Boomburst because that's gotta proc our Throat Spray. And we're immediately just gonna go into a Trick Room with Oranguru. This lead was a little scary for me, honestly. I was a little nervous about it, but they're playing very passively, going for the taunt onto Oranguru to try and stop the Trick Room. And then completely just ignoring an attack phase with their Urshifu, which I find very odd. That did a ton of damage. Are you joking? That did a ridiculous amount of damage to Tornadus. Okay, Toxtricity. Okay. Trick Room goes up. We're in a great position now. Because our Mental Herb on the Oranguru stopped the taunt from going off. So we're in a really, really strong position. What do they have? Anything that can swap in and take that hit better? It does make me want to Tera Normal here and Instruct. Because the only thing I'm super concerned about coming in is going to be their Amoonguss. So I want to do as much damage as possible. So I think this is the play. We're going to Tera Normal, go for the Boomburst. Get as much damage off as possible. Give that normal type attack a 1.5 times stab. It's going to be very, very strong. Very strong. Okay. So here we go. And this worked out really nicely because our Oranguru's actually... Oh, good play. Good play. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. We can't Instruct now, so Oranguru's kind of useless. But I was gonna say, what worked out was that we attacked that first turn, and we allowed Toxtricity to use Boomburst because under Trick Room, Oranguru's actually slower than the Toxtricity, so if I hadn't attacked that first turn, I wouldn't be able to Instruct because I hadn't used any attack. So that is a really good turn 1 for us, and this just kind of worked out in our favor. So what do they bring in? Amoonguss is here. Amoonguss is here. And our Chaludon. Okay, so things got a little more interesting. So I think what I want to do this turn is kind of play some mind games with them. I think they want to go for the Spore onto the Toxtricity slot. They want to get rid of the Toxtricity. So my game plan is I want to rotate in my Ursaluna into the Oranguru slot because they're not particularly worried about the Oranguru, right? Oranguru's not doing anything now that it's taunted. So why would they even bother going for that slot? But now we can go for the Protect, read the Spore into the Toxtricity just like I drew up, and we see what they go ahead and do with their Archaludon. They're going to Flash Cannon into the Ursaluna. But now that we have the Ursaluna in play in a perfect little scenario here, we are able to not be put to sleep because of the burn. So that was a good little switch. Nice little transition there. Okay, we got to figure out what we want to attack. And I think we're going to go for the Amoonguss here. Yeah, we're going to go for the Amoonguss. We're going to double the Amoonguss because we're worried about that Pokemon the most. They're going to go for Rage Powder, which is genuinely very nice for us. Genuinely, that's a perfect scenario. We get the Facade off. Boom. That should KO. Yeah. See ya, Amoonguss. Ursaluna's so strong. And our Sludge Bomb's not going to connect, but that's okay. Sludge Bomb's not going to connect. Dragon Pulse is going to go off into the Toxtricity. They're very concerned about how strong that Pokemon is ending up being. Toxtricity's pulling its weight in this battle, though. It's pulling its weight. So, I mean, at this point, let's see how many turns of Trick Room we have left. 1 turn of Trick Room. I think what I want to do is swap in. Actually, I'm okay not swapping in. No, I do. So we swap in here. We're going to sacrifice our boost on Toxtricity, and we're going to swap in Oranguru, and we're just going to go for a big old Earthquake. The reason we're swapping instead of attacking is the reason we swapped instead of attacking is because we don't want to proc a stamina boost and boost the defense of that Archaludon, but we take the dub with Toxtricity. GG on that one. Now, the second battle is interesting because they have both fast Pokemon as well as slow Pokemon, and also have 2 photosynthesis Pokemon, so Torkoal can be a bit scary in this scenario. But I know that Toxtricity plays fairly well into both Flutter Mane as well as their Corviknight, which is a potential lead for them, so I decide that I'm going to lead Cresselia this time rather than bring the Oranguru because I need more bulk. Roaring Moon plays extremely well into both Cresselia as well as into Oranguru, but I can use the bulk of Cresselia in order to survive the attacks and get Trick Room up. So I bring Toxtricity as well for bonus damage and hopefully to get off a Throat Spray turn 1. And then I bring my Torkoal in the back just because even if I proc Photosynthesis for them, I do have the slowest Pokemon on the field with Torkoal, and it is going to do massive damage. And then I round things out with Ursaluna because that gives me the opportunity to potentially set up Earthquake with Cresselia next to it with Levitate so it won't take the subsequent damage from the Earthquake. Alright, what's the lead here? Flutter and Ursaluna. Okay. That's kind of scary, truth be told. A little bit scary. But I think we have to go for the Tera and try and get Trick Room down. I think that has to be our play. And we can go for... The Boomburst is going to hit my Cresselia. I don't really want to go for the Boomburst. I think we go for the Sludge Bomb into the Flutter Mane slot. We are going to Tera. We're going to Tera Fairy here. I don't know how we are to survive a Blood Moon and a Shadow Ball. That's gonna be the thing. They're also tearing. They're tearing their Blood Moon Ursaluna. Oh no. Not good. Not good. That is very, very much so not good. Because that Blood Moon is going to hurt. There's the Shadow Ball. Let's see how we take it. Fairly well. Sludge Bomb goes off. Decent chip onto that Flutter Mane. Here's the Blood Moon. I need to survive with 1 HP. That's all I request. Yeah. Okay, Cresselia, you bulky monster. All right, Trick Room goes up. Good news for us. Good news for us. Now, I kind of want Cresselia to go down at this point. And I think I just want to go for as much damage as I possibly can. We're going to go for the Helping Hand here. The unfortunate scenario is we found out that the Toxtricity actually isn't, like, faster, well, slower than the Blood Moon, which is not shocking by any means. So we're going to get a little bit of damage off there with the Cresselia. Well, we're going to take a little damage with Cresselia. We're going to do a little bit more damage here with our Overdrive. And that's going to be enough to KO the Fluttermane, which is the ideal scenario. And that's going to proc our Throat Spray as well, putting our Toxtricity in kind of a scary little position. Now we get in Torkoal. We get in Torkoal every time now. That puts us as the slowest thing on the field, and we're able to deal with some Pokemon with this. And what comes in is Incineroar. All right. All right. Alright, that's a curious position we find ourselves in. What I think I want to do is just go for a Protect this turn. And while I did just proc my Throat Spray, I think the best case scenario is actually getting in my Ursaluna. The reason I want to do this is because swapping in my Ursaluna, Torkoal is going to be their biggest target. They are going to be petrified of Torkoal. Torkoal is going to just do massive damage because it is the slowest thing on the field. That is what they're going to be putting all their focus on. So being able to pretty much safely get a swap into my Ursaluna to proc my Flame Orb this turn is going to give me a lot more solid endgame scenario with the Trick Room still in play. There's the Fake Out into my Ursaluna, which is fine. And they go for the Blood Moon into Torkoal. Read them like a book. There we go. We get the free Flame Orb proc. Now we have to think, what do they have in the back? Is there anything that is super concerning? No. No, not a thing. So we go for Eruption. And we go for Facade into the Incineroar slot. That covers for any switch-ins, like if they have Corviknight or something. Oh, that didn't KO. Hold on, that didn't KO. That will KO Incineroar, but that did not KO their Blood Moon, and I'm a little scared now. They go for the Earth Power. Torkoal's not going to hang on to that. Okay. Good to know, I suppose. That was unexpected. I fully expected their Blood Moon to go down that turn. So we still have Toxtricity, which puts us in a decent position, depending on what they have in the back. It's the Roaring Moon. Okay. They do get the Photosynthesis proc, which is a touch annoying. But it's speed boosted. How many more turns of Trick Room? I believe this is our last turn of Trick Room. It is. So, I think the appropriate play is to go for... Ooh, you know what we can just do? We'll just Protect this turn and go for an Earthquake. That covers both options. Ooh, it doesn't look like they're protecting, oddly enough. Roaring Moon does protect. So it looks like they left... Oh, Vacuum Wave. That's unexpected. So we protected because we didn't want to hit our Toxtricity, but the Earthquake covered for both of those Pokemon staying open to attacks, which puts us in a decent position here to just kind of smack their Ursaluna. And now we're in a decent position. We're 2-1. We just have to do enough damage. Does the Sun disappear this turn? Twisted Dimensions return to normal. I think they have more turns of Sun. They do. Okay, so we're going to go for the Sludge Bomb. And I think the appropriate thing to do is they still have an item. So even if they have Acrobatics, that actually puts us in a very good position. We need to go for Sludge Bomb, and we just go for Facade. No protects, no mind games, just do big damage. It's only going to hit one of us unless... Okay, you just lost the game. If it Breaking swiped, then, you know, they would have hit both our Pokemon. But they just lost the game because they went for a Dragon Dance rather than going for an attack. So we could just freely... I think they were thinking I was going to protect, but in that scenario, I know you can only hit one of my Pokemon unless you have Breaking Swipe. So I might as well just do as much damage as possible and put myself in a winning position. So GG's there. GG's Toxtricity. Pulling it out.